In the last class, we were discussing the first law of thermodynamics, and we saw that according to first law of thermodynamics, if we give some amount of heat, delta Q, to a system, a part of it gets converted to its internal energy, that is delta U, and a part is used to do work on the surrounding. So the system will do work on the surrounding. So this is the first law of thermodynamics. Now delta Q, delta U and delta W means some amount of heat, some amount of internal energy, some amount of work done. Now if that amount is very small, we usually express it as dQ, du and dw. So even if you see the first law of thermodynamics in this form, it's the same. It just shows that the amount of heat energy and the corresponding other quantities are very small. That's all. So let us see in this class how the first law of thermodynamic appears in different thermodynamic processes like isobaric process, isochoric process, isothermal process, and adiabatic process. So we will see what each one of these processes are and how the first law appears in each of them. And before going to that, we told that a system can be completely expressed, or the state of a system can be completely expressed through three coordinates: pressure, volume, and temperature. Now, when we usually express a point for convenience, we express only in the xy plane, right? Similarly, we can express the state of a system in two axes, that is, one is taken as a pressure axis or the y-axis. So pressure is taken along the y-axis and volume is taken along the x-axis. Now such diagrams are called indicator diagrams. Indicator diagrams. So we will be drawing indicator diagrams when we discuss that process, and also we will see how the first law of thermodynamics appears and what is the expression for work done in each of these processes. So a graph drawn between pressure and volume by taking pressure along the y-axis and volume along the x-axis is called indicator diagram. And the important property is that if a system goes from a state A to B, which means at one point of time, it had pressure P1 and volume V1 at A. So at A, it has pressure P1 and volume V1. And after some time, it undergoes some process and it reaches B. At B, the pressure is P2 and the volume is V2. So it undergoes some process and reaches B. So B is P2, V2. This is how we express. This is the process. A system goes from point A to point B, which means it goes from a pressure state P1, V1, pressure and volume state P1 and V1, to a pressure and volume state P2 and V2. The area under the curve gives you the work done. So what is work done? Work done is equal to when a system goes from point A to B, which means if a system undergoes a change, for example, air expand. When air expands, its volume changes, its pressure changes, right? So when when the air expands, it goes from one state to other state. So during that time, the work done by the system is given by the area under the PV diagram or the indicator diagram. So the work done in this case will be equal to this area. The area marked like this. So the area is A, V1, V2, B. So this area will give you the work done. Is that clear to you? So this is called indicator diagram. We will be using PV graphs or indicator diagram for each of the processes which we are going to discuss now. So let us start with isobaric process. Do you know what is meant by isobaric process? Isobaric. Isobaric process. Isobaric process are thermodynamic process where the pressure remains a constant. Bar, barometer used to measure. So bar is a word usually used for pressure. So isobaric means pressure is a constant. So in isobaric process, the pressure remains a constant, and in such processes, let us see how the indicator diagram will look. Indicator diagram means a diagram drawn with pressure along the y-axis and volume along the x-axis. So pressure remains constant means when a system goes from one state to another, the pressure doesn't change. So it will be like this. Because the pressure is a constant, only the volume is changing. So it will be like this. So this is how the PV diagram for an isobaric process looks like. Now let us see more about isobaric process. What is the first law of thermodynamics? dQ is equal to du plus dW, where dQ is the amount of heat given, du is the change in internal energy, and dW is the work done. Now, one example for an isobaric process is if you have some gas taken in a cylinder fitted with a piston. Okay, you have some gas here. Now, if you heat this, what will happen? If you heat this, the gas will tend to expand, right? Usually, when something expands, what happens? Its volume increases. For example, if you take a balloon and if you blow air into it, why does it expand?
Because we are filling the balloon with air.
We are filling the balloon by air. So before we were filling the balloon by air, there was no air, right, inside. Even if there are some amount of air and the balloon was very small. Now, if you blow more air, the air pressure inside the balloon is increasing. So what happens? It will push the rubber outside because the air have a tendency to keep the same pressure as the surrounding, as the atmosphere. That is why if it is possible, it try to expand. Also, when we heat this, the pressure inside tend to become more. When we increase the temperature, the pressure increases, right? So we are talking about isobaric process. So it has a tendency to maintain its pressure, which is earlier equal to the atmospheric pressure. So what happens? It will push and the piston will move. Suppose by pushing, the piston is moving through a small distance dx. So after that, it will reach this position. Okay, the darker one. So it has the piston have moved through a small distance dx, suppose. So earlier its volume was V. Now when it have moved through a small distance dx, what happens? Its volume slightly increase. So this is expansion of gas. Now what is pressure? Pressure is defined as, what is pressure?
F by A, force by area.
per area, right? So you know that pressure is equal to force by area. Suppose this area is A. Area of cross section of this cylinder is A. Suppose this is the area of cross section of the cylinder is A and the pressure is P, which is a constant. Now let us see what is work done. Work done is equal to, if something is moving, we are applying some force, then what is the work done? Work done is equal to force into distance moved, right? So work done by the air when it expands is given by work done is equal to force into distance moved. That is F into dx. Is this clear to you? If this is a small work done when it is moving through a small distance dx. But we know that pressure is equal to F by A. So I can write force is equal to pressure into area. So I can write this as equal to pressure area into dx. What is area into this distance? If you have a rectangular box, yes, Hasina, tell me.
The change of volume.
Yes, it's the change in volume because this is the area of cross section. This is the small distance. So if you consider a rectangular block having area of cross section A and a small width dx, the volume covered by that area will be A into dx. So this is the increase in volume. So I can write A into dx as the change in volume. That's the volume increase when it moves. So pressure into dV. So we got that instead of the work done, we got a new expression for work done, P dV. So you can rewrite the equation or the first law of thermodynamics as dW is dQ is equal to du plus P dV. So this is how the first law of thermodynamics looks in an isobaric process. Okay. Now, how in practice we can calculate the total work done? So dW is equal to PdV. By mathematical method, if you have such an equation, to find the total work done, what we will do? The total work done is equal to integral of dW. So here I can write it as integral of PdV. And suppose the volume goes from V1 to V2. So integral V1 to V2 PdV. Now here the pressure is a constant because it is an isobaric process. So I can take pressure out of the integral. So this equation will become P into integral V1 to V2 dV. So just integral integral dx. What is that? Integral dx will give you x. Similarly, integral dv should give you v. So this is equal to p v applied between the limits v1 and v2. So this is equal to p into, when we put the upper limit first, it's v2 minus the lower limit v1. So the work done, the total work done is equal to pressure into change in volume. So this is how the work done in an isobaric process looks like. So three things which we wanted to discuss. One is, in an isobaric process, how will the indicator diagram look? It will look like this. Pressure is a constant. So it's parallel to the x-axis. Now, second question was how the first law of thermodynamics will look for an isobaric process. So that is equal to dq is equal to du plus pdv. So instead of work done, we can put it as pdv, or the total work done in an isobaric process can be calculated as pressure times change in volume. Change in volume means final volume minus initial volume, that is V2 minus V1. Is that clear to you? How the first law of thermodynamics looks in an isobaric process. Is it clear?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
So let me see, or let me go to the next process, which is called the isochoric process. Do you have any idea what is isochoric process?
Yes.
What is isochoric process?
Here the pressure and the temperature can change, but the volume is constant.
Yes. So in isochoric process, the volume remains a constant, which means the other two, that is pressure and temperature, can change. So in isochoric, core means volume. So isochoric process means a thermodynamic process in which the volume of the system remains a constant. Now, let us see such a case. The same example which we discussed before, if you have a gas cylinder fitted with a piston, and if the piston is not movable, then can the air expand? No. Okay, so it's a constant volume. The volume remains a constant. For example, we have gas cylinders. Inside the gas cylinder, the volume is always constant, right? So that is a system which is example for, that is a process. Whatever goes inside that is a process where the volume remains a constant. So in isochoric process, how will the indicator diagram look? Can you tell me how it will be? Earlier in isobaric process, it was parallel to the x-axis. How it will be in an isochoric process?
Parallel to y-axis.
Yes. So the volume is remaining a constant. If the volume was V1, it will remain throughout the process V1. So this is how in an isochoric process the indicator diagram will look. Now let us see what happens to the first law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics, we know that dq is equal to du plus dw, where dw we have derived in the previous case is equal to P into dV, pressure into change in volume. But in the isochoric process, we know that volume is a constant, which means dV is equal to 0. So if dV is equal to 0, dW will be also equal to 0, pressure into 0, so it will be 0. So the first law of thermodynamics looks like dQ is equal to du plus 0, or just dQ is equal to du, which means in an isochoric process, all the heat energy that is given to the system will be used to increase its internal energy, or will be used to increase its temperature. So this is the case for an isochoric process. All the heat energy which is given will result in an increase in its internal energy. Is this clear to you?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. So remember that when we put V is a constant, dW, which is P dV, will become 0. Therefore, this is how the first law of thermodynamics will appear for isochoric process. And what about the work done during an isochoric process? The work done by the system is 0. So these are the 3 points. Indicator diagram will look like this. The work done is 0, and this is the form of the first law of thermodynamics in isochoric process. So let us see the other one, the third one. What is that?
Isothermal process.
Yes, isothermal process. So the third one, which is isothermal process. Isothermal means the name suggests.
In here, the temperature is constant.
Yes, exactly. So the temperature will remain a constant. Isothermal means the temperature will remain a constant, but pressure and volume can change. You have learned before a law which is applicable in an isothermal process. When the temperature remains constant,
Boyle's law.
yeah, Boyle's law. Do you remember what is Boyle's law? What is Boyle's law? According to Boyle's law, at constant temperature, the pressure is inversely proportional to volume, which means pressure is equal to a constant into volume, or constant divided by volume, or PV is equal to a constant. So this is applicable in a isothermal process. Remember that PV will be a constant. The product of pressure and volume will be a constant. Now let us see how the indicator diagram will look in an isothermal process. Now we have pressure along the y-axis and volume along the x-axis. Now both can change, right? So the curve will not be parallel to any of the axes, but it will look like this. So this is how the indicator diagram for a isothermal process will look like. So as the pressure decreases, the volume increases. They are inversely proportional to each other. Is that clear to you? So
Yes, teacher.
as the pressure decreases, the volume increases. So this is how the indicator diagram will look. And now let us see how the first law of thermodynamics will look. dQ is equal to du plus dW. This is the first law. Now, when the temperature is constant, what about the internal energy? We told when we discussed the internal energy that the means to increase or decrease the internal energy is change in temperature. If you heat a system, if the temperature goes up, its internal energy goes up. And if it cools down, its internal energy comes down. So what about du, which is change in internal energy?
There is no temperature change, so no internal energy will be changed.
Yes, there is no change in temperature, so no change in internal energy. du is equal to 0, which means all the heat energy given will be used to do work. So all the heat energy given will be used to do work. Now let us find what is the total work done. One method is to find the area under the PV curve. That will be the work done when a system is undergoing a isothermal process. Let us also derive an expression to show what is the work done in an isothermal process. For that, see, both P and V are changing, right? So we know that the work done, delta W is equal to P dV. Now, when I am finding the total work done, I have to integrate this expression. Integrate P dV. Earlier, when we discussed the isobaric process, we took the pressure out because it was a constant. This time, we cannot take the pressure out because it is not a constant. But integration is with respect to volume, dV. So what we can do? We have to write pressure in terms of volume. How can we write an expression for pressure in terms of volume? Here, we have to use a concept which you must have learned before. The equation for an ideal gas.
P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2 is equal to P3 V3 and constant.
Yeah, PV is equal to a constant from Boyle's law. but you combine many other laws, Charles' law and all, and you got one single equation. Do you remember? If there was two different states, right, we can write P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Again, we cannot write P1 is equal to P2 V2 by V1. Again, P is there. So we cannot use this equation. We need an equation where there is no pressure. Only volume. In terms of volume, we have to express pressure. For that, we will use the ideal gas equation. You remember what is ideal gas equation? PV is equal to nRT, where P is pressure, V is volume, N is the number of moles. Number of moles, which is the amount of substance. Amount of substance is expressed in moles. So N is the number of moles. And what is R? R is a universal gas constant. And do you remember its value? It's 8.31 joule per mole per Kelvin. So this is universal gas constant. So you must have learned this in your previous class. This is ideal gas equation. Pressure into volume is equal to nRT. So here N is a constant, R is a constant, and when we are considering isothermal process, T also is a constant. So from here we can express pressure in terms of volume. P is equal to, when I take V to this side, nRT divided by V. And where N, R and T are constants. So we have expressed pressure in terms of only one variable, that is volume. Is that clear to you? So let me express pressure. For pressure, let me put this expression here, because I cannot take pressure out of the integral. It's not a constant. It depends upon volume. As we saw in the indicator diagram, it varies with volume inversely. So here W is equal to, now I can integrate, and instead of pressure, I'm putting nRT by V into dV. Now, if I take N, R and T, which are constants, outwards, I will get W is equal to nRT into integral 1 by V dV. What is integral 1 by V dV? What is integral 1 by x dx? It's equal to log x, natural log of x. So we will use the same idea here. Suppose the pressure, gas is going from volume V1 to V2, then we can write this as equal to nRT into, instead of integral 1 by V dV, I am writing log V between the limits V1 and V2. So I can write the total work done is equal to nRT times, if I put the upper limit, it will be log V2 minus log V1. What is log A minus log B? Log A minus log B is log of A by B. So I am writing that also, nRT times log of V2 by V1. So this is the expression for the work done. So in an isothermal process, we found that the total energy, that is heat energy given to a system, will be completely used to do work theoretically, and also this work done is given by nRT log V2 by V1. So we have discussed in isothermal process how the indicator diagram will look like. The indicator diagram will look like this. It will be a curve showing that as pressure decreases, volume increases. They are inversely related. And we saw that the first law of thermodynamics appears as dq is equal to dw, and we also derived an expression for the total work done. And for that, we use the idea of an ideal gas equation, and that's it. Is this clear to you? Is this
Yes,
clear to you? Okay, there is not time to discuss adiabatic process. We will discuss adiabatic process in the next class.